Hello, this is Dance Without Music again. Um, Today I was at work, okay, and I always think about the videos, but this time I'm into Dance Without Music, um, Xman physics, okay, and it's developing. Like I said, I'm still in processing, but this section is actually helping me. So there's a reason why I'm doing this dance without music, even though I'm not finished processing. Another thing about processing, which is good because I'm showing you that it takes a long time. So now we're going to get into the hydrogen X. Okay, sounds really strange. I always say that. If you're new to this, like I said, everybody has to start at the beginning. It takes a long time, and there's so many things to know. There's like 4 years of information. This is like 3 years of information because we're in the fourth year now. The things you just have to know. I mean, and one thing I said in my former videos is that in this society, we always think about wanting something fast. We want this fast, we want that fast, we want this fast. This thing that we're doing has nothing to do with like getting it done at this time, because look, like now I told you I was in processing for the things that I was learning while I was studying. I wanted to do it just to help people, but I can't explain it unless I actually do it myself. I know how to do things without I just know how things work, okay? But I was doing it and I wanted to help people to have a better life, as far as, I had my life and everything. But I noticed that I couldn't help but process what I was actually studying. It's not so much that I want to do the things that I'm teaching, but I have to do them in order to teach them, okay? And it goes faster too if I do it, because I can explain to you what's happening. Because it's so big, I just can't. There's things that I have to face that I can explain to you much better. And getting to know how to do the things, even the things I'm telling you right now, it's like I do things. It's not like trial and error, but it's just like going through, like, this is not the right way, this is not the right way, this is not the right way. A good movie that you could see that will help you understand the process a little bit, not so much, but there was a movie, um, I forgot his name. He did the movie Leaving Arizona. I forgot the actor's name, but I'll try and put it in the description. See if I can. Nicolas Cage. He did a movie to where he could figure out time. He knew about like the first few minutes of time, something about time, but and he can calculate like what's the right thing to do by by doing each thing. Okay, but anyway, you have to see that movie. I forgot the name of it, but it's a certain way that you have to do it, and that has to do it's kind of like it's just kind of like it'll just spark your interest to show you a, it's part, not, it's not the way I do it, but it gives you an idea. That's what I'm trying to say. So the movie with Nicolas Cage, and he's in Las Vegas or something like that, but you can look it up. It's very easy. He's in Las Vegas, and it's like he understands about time or something like that. Anyway, that's just to give you an idea of how difficult things are. Only it takes more time than what he does in the movie, but it's just a movie. But movies are very good because they give you ideas, and that's where I got my idea, X-Men physics. because Xman physics, not X-Men, it's Xman physics. As you do it, you pretty much have to learn the physics and then process them yourself, of course. Okay, so now we're going to get into this. Is going to be an extension of what we learned yesterday or the last video, as far as dance without music, Xman physics. Okay, we're going to work with hydrogen, and that's the best term I can come up with as far as it is now. It just seems so much because it is very powerful, and it's almost like you hide it from yourself. Because I gave this example one time. If you ever clapped your hands too hard and then your hands hurt, that's something like it is. It's like a hydrogen X. You have to be very careful with it. But the hydrogen X, as far as now, is controlled by the control, and you control the control. Okay? So let me try it again. Okay, but I haven't got full control of the control. The control works mostly by habit. Okay? Like when you want to do something, you continually do it, and the control gets the pattern. And we talked about apparatus. It makes the apparatus and it does the pattern, and then you do it naturally, subconsciously. Okay, but we're getting rid of that. Okay, now there's, from last class, I was able to figure out a little bit about controlling the hydrogen, or seeing it, or being able to familiarize yourself with hydrogen X. Okay, now I'm going to do that, or maybe should I do that and then go to the next one? So let's do that now, and then I'll go to the next thing. The next thing that we're going to study, next thing we're going to do is the radical 4 and radical 9 working together. Okay, we're going to move the radical 9, we're going to move the radical 9 in different places. So anyway, I have to explain to you because that one's very complicated, kind of complicated, which I figured out from last class also, so the classes do help out. You know, I'm not getting any views on this, but it's so important. And I know it's going to be popular. It's impossible for it not to be popular because it has to be done. Just an example of how things will be is the fact that technology is going so fast. And I remember I read dictionaries. And I was reading one dictionary, and one highlight I wanted to remove. This is just to let you know how important dance without music, Xman physics is going to be. So I was doing a highlight, and I did that one without losing my point. So I'm getting better. So I was in a highlight, and I couldn't remove the highlight because I highlight and I read certain things. It's a verb dictionary. And I couldn't remove the highlight. And then a screen popped up, a menu saying report an error. And I was able to report that error of that. It's like thousand pages, and of this one thing I was able to report an error. Okay, somebody has to take care of that error. Okay, or a program. People do programs. I'm telling you how technical things are going to continually be. There's a person who has to do that. I was also doing an application, a language application, and there was an error, and there was a flag, and I reported this error and this program is so big, and I was able to report one error. So I'm just telling you how complex society is going to be, and if you want to keep up and you want to really, really do very well, yes, do very well, you must understand dance without music, Xman physics. So now let's get into the hydrogen X. Okay. So anyway, we got to this far. I try to wear different things. I mean, you know, do different things in the background or something like that, because you see the same thing all the time and how you don't like it. So that's why I pretty much put this shirt on. I just came from work. So anyway, let me see if I could just like put this in so you could see how everything is moving, how I'm moving, okay? Hope that looks good. Okay, now, so anyway, so now we get the hydrogen X and we went up like this, okay? This aids us in viewing the hydrogen, okay? We put the hand in the balls, but we don't have to worry about it yet because it doesn't, the hydrogen X does not feel or it does not activate it until we get to the hands, okay? And we did this yesterday, okay? If you're following along, if you really want to do it, you have to see every video, everything, okay? So here we are, and it takes a long time. I know I stop and talk, but all these things are very important. I wanted to mention this one thing. It's going to take at least 10 years for you to have the basics down to where you can see what's happening, okay? But it'd be so much fun. It is so much fun and rewarding as you go to that 10 years. One Xman physics year, Xman physics year is 4 years, okay? 4 years. So at the end of this 4 year, when this class and this year ends, that'll be one Xman physics year, which is a lot. The reason why I say that is because our year, normal year, is 365 days, I think. Yeah, 365 days, 366 leap year. It's only 365. You need more time. If you think about a year, it's not that much. It's not really that long, especially when you're learning something. So you need that year, you need over 1,000, okay? It says 369, over 1,000 days, okay? So that's why Xman physics year is 4, but you do a lot, and that's when you can really see how things are working. But the 10 years, I could say 10 normal years, you'll have not just the basics, and this is always think about before the basics. This is actually before the basics. And it's hard to get to the basics of things. We're actually working before the basics, which is the most important. Most things, when you learn them, they expect you to have a talent in something. This one, you don't have to have a talent at all, because you build your talent, which is fantastic, because some people who don't have talent actually end up better talented than those who have talent, which take their talent for granted. So the normal is 10 years. So in Xman physics years, that would be 2 years and a half. Okay, see if you got that. Rewind it and figure it out. So now we're going back over this hydrogen. Now this one I don't know. Some things I don't know because it's best not to know, because everything goes in steps. So I don't really want to know now, but I know I'm going to know. So hopefully you got that. So anyway, we're bringing in our basis is like the dance, the thriller dance, but I use it because all the things are there. So if you know a thriller dance, you know what part we're in, but we change it and we're making precision. So we're using kind of the basic parts of the dance, but we change it a lot, and then we're going to get to the original one, okay? But I'm using things from it, and this is in the dance, so let's do it. Also, if you notice, when you know the hydrogen moves, when you know the hydrogen X, how it moves, see how the movements are so beautiful and precise, okay? So here we go with the hydrogen X. I'm not going to say where the control is, even if I find it, because that's going to be another lesson, okay? But I'm doing it subconsciously now where the hydrogen is, okay? But when I'm ready, I can do it without the subconscious. But now I'm doing it subconsciously, but I'm not doing the hydrogen subconsciously because I found it, okay? So I can see how the hydrogen is working. Hydrogen X, I'm sorry, I'm not going to say hydrogen. And we use a different language. Okay, so let me stop talking and do this. So I can see where the hydrogen X is. I can see it going up, okay? Up to the, and remember the addict in there, okay? Now, when I get here, I'm making the ball with the hydrogen X, okay? And then I'm going to bring it down, okay? And I can see how it moves, Now it's breaking, okay? Here, it's moving. We have direction, force, and speed. Remember that? The hydrogen is the direction, okay? You need direction, force, and speed. The direction and speed is coming from the hydrogen, and the force is coming from the weight, okay? So here, if I go like that, that's a lot, okay? You see that? I took the direction and the speed out. So now we're going to get used to that hydrogen. Hydrogen X, I can't say that. It's a term that we just use here. It has nothing to do, so far as I know, with hydrogen. And then I've got the hydrogen and I put it in hydrogen X, I put it in the ball. And then I'm going to bring it back down. Now it's breaking, okay? It's not moving, it's breaking, okay? What I'm saying is breaking the fall, okay, so that it can go down, okay? So here I can move it to where its direction is direction and speed, and then here it's breaking. I gotta figure out a term for that, but I'm not gonna do it right now, this moment. I just want, when you get to this stage, I want you to be able to see, and I'm talking about internal see, this hydrogen X. And then I got it there, and now I'm breaking the hydrogen X. I'm breaking the fall. The hydrogen X is breaking the fall. Okay, I can kind of idea where the control is, but I'm not going to say. So that's a good study because now I can go. If I just think about the hydrogen X, that's it. And now, what is this? This is direction and speed. Before, the speed wasn't highlighted. The direction is highlighted. Okay. Okay. Now, if I go like that, see? And then I bring it down, okay? Okay, so that's done. So we finished that about that. Oh, there's one point I want to make. We did measurements, so I want to state that this is a half circle, okay? It's cutting a half circle. Now I changed my finger, okay? It's cutting this half circle. This is for later, okay? It's just, there's a circle here, but we're not going to worry about. We want to just do one thing at a time. If you master one thing, it kind of is, one thing goes into maybe 3 things or 2 things. If it goes into 2 things, then it's 4 things. Exponentiates, I guess I can say, but it starts with just 1 or 2 things. Okay, so now I want you to think about that measurement. Okay, now to get into the next part of the lesson, we have I want to talk about semiotics. Okay, semiotics is very important. Okay, very important, but we don't use them internally. Okay, we use them internally, but not for this part of this in the way that you think they're used, okay? Because I'm communicating with you, I use semiotics, okay? To speak to you, to explain to you about semiotics is signs. Look it up. I mean, I had to look it up, and I went through all the things, but I took a course in semiotics, so I was able to, when I first heard it, I go, oh, what is that? Okay, but anyway, look that up. Just symbols, using symbols and things like that to explain things, okay? Now, we don't use semiotics, okay? Remember when I talked to you about, even if I'm saying I'm using them now for interest, so that people can be interested. But when you go through the whole course, you'll see a way not to use semiotics, okay? Okay. So now, there's another one I dropped. I use radical 4. I'm using semiotics. If I keep saying it, then I'll lose the pronunciation. Okay, I'm using it to explain to you, so you got to know that. So, we talked about a square, not square root. A square root makes a radical. So if I say square root, I'm just talking about the square. Then if I use a radical, which is equal to the radical, then I make. So what we're making now is the floor. But we haven't got into so much as far as the vocabulary we're going to use for the floor yet. But we use quadrants, okay? So I dropped, you remember I said squares, like last class I did square, 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 square is radical 4, okay? But I dropped the squares. I'm dropping the squares. I was actually using the squares too. If you look, it was hard for me to walk through radical 9. I did it, but it was kind of sloppy. But I needed to clean it up. And the way I cleaned it up is I'm going to show you how I cleaned it up. I took the radical 4 and I stayed in the radical 4. And we use functions. Functions when you're in a radical, and that's in the back. But when you're in a radical, when you're in radical 4, you have this, okay? And you have this, okay? To get here, you use a function, okay? But you could do anything because you have a function. So you create a function and I go, I'm gonna do this. I create the function and then I do it, okay? It's very, very terrible if you don't have the function, okay? So I have the function and then I do this. So what I'm going to do is, it was sloppy, and I noticed it was sloppy when I was trying to walk through the radical 9, but I did something to make it, to clean it up and to learn more, and we're working about precision, okay? So what I did is, I know that that radical 9 is actually here. What was distracting, which I could do it, but that's in another one, in another video, but I didn't really expound on it. But I want to keep the radical 9 here in my mind, okay? You can't do it unless you go through the course, okay? Especially when I'm using semiotics, you're not going to do it. But you're going to do it when you get to that point. I'm doing it for interest, okay? So I have the radical 9. I'm going to remove the radical 9, and I'm going to keep the radical 4 here. I also dropped the boxes. The perimeter for radical 4, so far as I know, is the quadrant, but I'm not sure. But I'm going to find the perimeter because I'm dropping the boxes. You know, this corner, 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 I dropped them. It's another semiotics. So I dropped everything, okay? I dropped everything. And now I'm most likely the perimeter, I'm going to find the perimeter. The nice thing about the perimeter of this radical 4 is that everybody has it. If it's in the mind, in its structure, everybody has the same structure. So my perimeter for radical 4 is the same as everyone else. So if someone, say they have small feet, oh, we don't use feet or anything, has small steps, okay? I said I don't use body parts or feet or anything like that because I'm not a doctor. If a doctor did this, woo, they'd be the best doctor in the whole world, okay? So anyway, I don't know the. What I was saying is that everybody has the same structure. Okay, if you don't play with your structures, you have the same structure. And I explained to you one thing that's a sin as far as the Catholics is concerned. This is just trivial information. Is changing your structure because of the fact, which I found out, is it creates an imparity for you to communicate with others. That's one thing I find. But I don't do that. I make sure everything stays like everybody else, okay? So I can find the perimeter of the radical four because I dropped all the semiotics. So if I drop all the semiotics, I'm going to find, if it's not just the quadrant, I'm going to find the perimeters. Because it's there. It's definitely there. But that's in, I don't know where class that's in. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the radical 4. I'm going to move radical 9. So the only thing that you will see is my radical 4, okay? So it's like me walking, but let me see if I can explain. Wait, I gotta stay on the screen because I don't want them, because I don't do pen nails or whatever you call it. I let them do it myself, and I don't want them to put a blank pen nail on it. So I don't, okay, let me see. Okay, let's say this. I really want to eat this. I got one piece of candy here. Okay. But I'm gonna wait. Okay, like say this. Okay, this is an example. Okay, say like I'm on radical 4 here. Okay, no, I'm in a center. This is not a square, but like we said, we don't know what the perimeters are gonna be. So I made it like a square. So I'm here in radical 4, and this whole thing is radical 9. I'm going to go like this. Okay, and move. What I'm moving is the radical 9. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. Hopefully you understand what I'm doing there. Okay. But the thing about it is I'm using my functions. You use functions inside the radical 4. And I'm going to figure out a function. Maybe I'll do the same thing or whatever happens. But this is a function inside radical 4. So let's see. So I'm in the center of radical. Now wait, we got 3 squared, and from 3 squared, now I'm going to make the radical. Now I have the radical, okay? It's in my mind. I don't know, I'm not going to call it anything yet. That's too advanced also. Now I'm in the center. I'm doing a function in radical 4. And since it's dance about music, I can do this. Now I'm going to move to, okay, we have natural quadrant, the natural side quadrant of radical 9. I just moved it. Okay, so it's from the center to there, okay? There. Now I'm in another quadrant, okay? So I can, I'm doing the same exact thing, okay? Now I'm going to move it to a corner, the front corner. I just moved it to the front corner. There we go. Now I'm moving it over 1. Okay, I moved it over 1. Now I'm going to move it again to the next corner. Okay. Now I'm going to move it back. And this is where the center is, over here now, okay? I'm on the side of the other side. It's a turn. Okay, now. So now I'm going to move to the back corner of radical 9. Got it? Now I'm going to move to the back center line. That's it. I got it? And now, oh boy. Okay, now I'm going to move to the corner, the natural corner in the back. I got it? And now I'm going to go back to the center. I got back to the center, okay? And now I'm in the center where I started, okay? It's just, you can't see it, but I explained it to you. It's not, I'm not joking with you. That's what I did, okay? But say if I just want to use, now what we're gonna do is we're going to use the center. I'm in the quadrant, I'm in radical 4. I have a space here, and I have a space here for my quadrant to fit the whole quadrant, okay? I mean, not the whole quadrant, to fit the whole radical 4. If I go like, now I'm not moving, I'm not keeping the radical 9 stable, okay? I'm keeping the radical 9 stable, but I'm moving my radical 4. I can move it here, okay? And there. Now if I move it over 1, if I move it, I don't want to use it. If I move it this way, that means I have two spaces here, and I have I have a room for a radical. I don't know if I should do that. I'm not going to do that because it's going to be too complicated for now, okay? And we need more turns to do that, okay? So I just moved over 1 step. I'm going to go back to the center, okay? Now I'm going back over here, and now I'm going back to the center. I'm not going to explain because I have to figure out a way to explain. So we're not going to explain, but I know you got it. You got what I'm talking about. I can go over here, and then I can come back. So I can go over here, and then I could go here, and I can go here, okay? I'm not in the center. You know where I'm at, okay? And I can go here, here, okay? So what I wanted to do, so that's gonna end it for this lesson, okay? But now I need to do, I want to do something for a short. And you know, I'm gonna do, oh. I'm trying to do something for a short. So let me come up with something, okay? Because we got this. This is inside the radical. inside the radical, inside the radical. Okay, so I want to use, maybe if I use hydrogen X, okay? So I know I can feel the hydrogen X and see if I could come up with something for this. Okay, I hope that's good.